Okay, so my name is Jade Robinson, and I'm going to be partnered with Megan, who's going to also help me cover another topic as well. But ultimately, you see on the sheet here, we're going to talk about people, processes, and also systems, which is Megan's specialty. So to give you a little background, I am an entrepreneur CEO of JR Events and 2 other companies, which is Florida Venues and All About You Staffing. So just to kind of give you some insight, I want to definitely talk about the people aspect of things and scaling your business. What does it look like to add people to your business? And with that being said, of course, you need to know the backstory, like is this person and is she qualified to tell us this information? I currently, across those 3 businesses, have 83 employees. 2 are virtual and that work in the Philippines, and the rest are located in Jacksonville and a combination of Charlotte as well. We're opening our 2nd location in Charlotte. We specialize in wedding and events. And so I'm in the people business because working weddings and events, you have to have somebody in person, right? So there's a lot that goes behind the scenes of that piece of it. Okay, so let's talk about scaling a business and what that looks like. First thing, I need to gauge the audience. So who in here has a business already or has been in business? Okay, so the majority of in business. Okay, cool. And out of the business owners that are here, how many of you can walk away from your business and still make the sales? I'm talking like a month walk away from your business, or 2 weeks even, and still make the sales that you desire to make as far as touching the clients as well. Okay, you on the fence? How long can you walk away from your business and it still work?
I'm in 2 different locations. So
Okay.
out of 2 states.
Okay.
That's the hard especially. Hey, we had an event yesterday, and it was just like, I want to be there. I want to be controlling everything.
What's your business?
Popsicle and popsicle.
Oh yes, I've had your popsicles before. I saw your face, I was like, I know you. Okay, all right, cool. I love them popsicles. Wait, you had a Henny Pop, didn't you? Hennessy popsicle? I remember that one, y'all. That was good. Anyway, all right, I'm sorry. Let me compose myself.
Make sure I get your business card.
Yeah. So, delightful treats, guys. The plug. Okay, so if you walked away from it for like a week, right? And clients called in, who's closing the sale? So you can't walk away from it technically. Okay, all right. No, that's not a bad thing. So that's what I want to talk about. A lot of us work in our business and we ultimately are like, oh no, I don't want to give this, I don't want to trust this person with my business. This is my baby. And I'm nervous and I'm scared and I don't know how I'm going to incorporate somebody into my dream. And so ultimately, the biggest thing I'll tell you is you need a team, right? And when you're developing a team, the most important thing that you have is going to be your leadership skills. That's your leadership skills. Best, most important quality for you building your team is what kind of leader you're going to be. Because ultimately, when you're guiding your team and you're directing them, they need the leadership that is necessary for them to see the vision, right? Can you successfully be a visionary to them and help them see what the goal is? So thinking about that, to be a good leader, right, it starts with you. Your vibe attracts your tribe, right? So are you self-aware about what you bring to the table and what you don't bring to the table? Right? So identifying your weaknesses actually helps you uplift strengths in other people that you didn't know that they had or that you needed, right? So I'll use myself as an example. I do not like sales. I don't want to have to bargain with you about why you need my wedding planning service. I do not, listen, you either take the service or not. That's how I feel about it, right? So, but I know that's not an appropriate way to market myself, right? So instead, I had a teammate that was really good at talking to the clients and convincing them not just to get the sale, but the upgrades of our service, right? And so I'm seeing my investment double because she is really good at sales. I had about a 40% closing rate. That's how bad I was at selling my own business. She has a 92%. 90 to 92% is what she averages. So now I have somebody who can actually help me sell the business and I don't have to worry about if I'm on vacation, are we A, closing sales, right? And B, are we actually focused on the goals of the business and they're actually being achieved? So thinking about some of your weaknesses, and I call them weaknesses, and that's okay to be able to own it. A lot of times we've been taught to be able to do everything, right? If I want it done right, I gotta do it myself. That is not true. Okay, how many of you in here have worked for a corporate job or still work for a corporate job? Okay, you work for a corporate job, you work for somebody else at some point, right? Okay, so when you look at that business who paid your salary, right? were they actually having people in the business that had the attributes to build that team? And that's what you can build for yourself. So I decided after many years working in Merrill Lynch, I quit my job after 13 years. I decided I was gonna build a team. I was gonna build somebody to come up and pour into them. So the next thing that I focused on after figuring out what kind of leader I wanted to be, what kind of attributes I bring to the table, I started focusing on the work culture. Because a lot of times we go to jobs that we hate and people that we have to work with every day that we can't stand, right? So I wanted to be somebody that they enjoyed working with. How are you making people feel when they come to work? Because a lot of people don't quit jobs, right? They quit people. If you don't like somebody, you work in an area you don't like, you're like, man, I can't wait to clock out so I ain't got to see this person again, even if they are your boss, right? So when you're thinking about what that looks like to build a team, your leadership skills are very important. And I tell everybody, don't just look at what your strengths are, but look at what your weaknesses are. So I decided to build a culture. I have a very family-oriented business, so that way people feel like there's an open door. You can talk to me about what's going on in the job, and it's a job that you like to go to every day. It's not one that you feel anxiety going to. I didn't want that for the culture of our business. So what are your goals and what's in line with that? Now, the next thing is the mentorship aspect of it. A lot of times, we as business owners get so focused on, I'm gonna train you, you're gonna do the task, and boom, go ahead and do it. But then we forget about the fact that these are people who, they have goals, they have dreams, they have wants, they have needs. So what does that look like? So I consider myself to be a servant leader, where I'm able to focus on what those person's goals are and dreams are, and I pour into them. With the exception of knowing the hard truth that this may not be their last stop, that they may have goals and they may only work for me 2 years, 3 years, and I have to be okay with that and know that I've built a job for them that will help benefit both of us, right? So while you're thinking about what kind of leader you want to be, what kind of culture you want to be, these are very important things as you're thinking about bringing on employees. Who in here has an employee already? Anybody? Not yet? Okay, you have an employee, okay. What's your business? Oh, I see Green Legacy Farm all the time. I love that. Okay, awesome. So how many employees do you have? 6 employees. And do you have a work culture? A work culture that you've created for them? Okay, awesome, nice. Any mentorship?
Not there yet.
Okay, okay. So the mentorship, just thinking about how it could even be just a monthly touch base or every other month, right? It doesn't have to be aggressively like, I'm gonna make you achieve your goals, but you could be in a position where you actually say, all right, what are you working on? What's going on outside of you? What do you wanna do with your life? Okay, yeah. So, but I would suggest making it more formal, right? Because then that way you can also track where they're at and you could be an accountability partner as the leader of your business too, you know? So that's something to think about. Now, in conjunction with working as the leader, right? Processes is the next thing that's very important when you're scaling your business. So processes are gonna be like those HR guideline policies. They're gonna be the things that help you manage the tasks that's being done to your liking, right? But they can't read your mind, so you can train them verbally, but if they can't read it and they can't hold them accountable to something and documented, then a lot of times that's when you create errors. And so they're actually going to be able to look at what your expectations are, they read it, and they can accept or decline if this is the job for them. So you have to make sure that you have those processes. And when you're talking about it, so I'm talking a little in reverse, she's gonna talk about the systems that you need to build prior to this, which are in conjunction with your processes. So that way they have an expectation. So for instance, I offer an incentive program for the sales. I give her a base salary to talk on the phone and take those sales calls that I cannot stand. And then she makes a commission off those sales. So it also incentivizes her to do better than just take the sale and book the client, but like, okay, I don't know, I'm gonna make a little extra money off of this. And then in addition to building that out, it also could be along the lines of some HR guidelines, right? How do I want you to talk to my clients? What is the tone of the email communication even? Being able to break it down and where people can walk into your business and not have to read your mind is huge for being able to develop the employees. And a lot of times we walk into different relationships with our employees and we don't navigate a proper HR guidelines. To be transparent, I don't know if you ever worked with somebody that may not have given you that proper guidelines and boundaries, but setting them when they start and making sure you have everything in place is going to be essential to being able to build them with that. So what do those incentives look like? Do we outline them in a guideline policy? What are the expectations of the job? And even what happens if you make a mistake? Like being able to talk about that with that person and saying like, hey, you know what? I noticed that you're doing this. This is what the guidelines will be moving forward. Here's where we're gonna figure out and discover like, what is the next steps? Maybe it's corrective action. Maybe we take away something, whatever that looks like for you and your business as well, right? I had a mentor tell me, and he said, if you can't step away from your business for a week or two, you really don't own a business, you own a job.